A lot of you out there, myself included, are on TikTok. Millions of people, about 170 million people across the country use this app. So, how are you feeling right now? We sent Sue O'Connell out to the streets to find out. This is this week's Sue on the Street.
I used to be a content creator on TikTok, so it is really unfortunate because that's where I originally grew up my fan base.
Yeah.
And I haven't really used it more as a user, but just to know that there's a lot of people who are going to be put out of a job even through that, and that I'm kind of scared to what that's going to do to the job market going forward.
And I think, you got to take into account how young people are feeling, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of protests behind that. I mean, TikTok is both a positive and a negative app, and I'm just interested to see how it all plays out.
So the concerns were that it's a national security concern, that the data, obviously the company that owns it is Chinese, and that the Chinese government can tell their owner at any moment, national security concern, we want all the data that you've been getting from American citizens.
It was never an immediate concern just because I feel like on all social medias I stay private.
Yeah, I do think it is a concern. I think it's just very interesting given that, a lot of the people who run TikTok have said, the interview about him saying, I'm Singaporean, I have no association with China. So I think it's going to be, a very interesting conversation as to, yes, there are security concerns, but TikTok also has been a really great platform for young people to get educated on current events.
Are you on TikTok?
Yes, I love it.
You love it?
Yes.
Do you have any national security concerns? Are you worried about where your data is going, that it's owned by a Chinese company and that they might have to turn information over to the Chinese government if asked?
Not at all.
How come?
I think it's fine if they get some dancing, day in the live videos data. Yeah.
Are you at all concerned about it being a First Amendment issue if Congress actually, says you can't get
sure. For sure.
How come?
How come they're not banning Facebook or Instagram or other social media run by big American corporations?
And I think there's a lot more sort of implications than people are realizing from the decision, and it's not just a social media kind of issue.
And as of Sunday, there probably or may not be any more TikTok. How do you feel about that?
I'm trying to get off social media, so, it's probably better to be outside anyway.
This is a great topic to sort of debate and go back and forth on. Sue's joining us right now. Sue, I want to get your reaction to sort of the reaction here. You spoke to all these folks out there. It seems like some people are sort of accepting the reality that TikTok might be gone soon.
Yeah, they are, Colton. And I have to say that just about every person I chatted to had a very informed opinion, and most raised more questions than the ban would actually answer or address. And one characteristic about this generation, though, that I want to point out is that things change very quickly in their lives, more quickly than mine, even more quickly than yours. So if the ban is enforced, I think they're either going to find ways to circumvent the system or they're just going to move on to the next option.
So listen, when President Biden signed the ban into law, the countdown, it began to ban, and China just sort of shrugged it off, right? They hadn't really done much to convince the U.S. to keep it, but now the U.S. is trying to do just that.
Right.
Was this more or less sort of a standoff between the two governments, and is the U.S. sort of just blinking first here?
Yeah, yes to both of those, Colton. But quick, let's do a little history lesson. Back in 2019, the U.S. government demanded that the Chinese owners of Grindr, that's a gay dating app owned by a Chinese company, the government said, relinquish your control of the company because of national security concerns. And that company did in 2020. So it seems like the lawmakers thought the same thing would happen with TikTok. And guess what? It didn't. A threat was made. Nothing changed. So now what? So China definitely has the upper hand.
Well, the bigger question here is what happened to the national security concerns that we heard for a year now that sort of kickstarted this whole process.
Yep.
Are those now unfounded or just as made up, as justification for trying to force China to do something?
Right. Everyone has seemed to make a 180-degree turn, right? I don't know if we're ever going to know, right? Earlier in the week, I asked Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey, who voted for the ban, who's now trying to delay it, if those concerns of national security were overblown. And he said, look, there's no real evidence of an immediate national security threat. So that's why he's asking Congress for more time so they can have more hearings. And the original push to ban TikTok was bipartisan. And the Supreme Court, which is mostly conservative, offered this unanimous rare opinion. It was unanimous. So it's unclear how serious a threat there is, or if it's a threat in the future they're trying to head off, or if other factors are contributing to the ban. We just don't know, Colton.
All right, so I will, for one, miss your explainers and your dance videos.